Now, here's an interesting subject that a lot of preppers debate, and then they all end up agreeing. They all sit back and say, you need a 22. Why do you need a 22? I mean, iron sights are the best. Knock it around, do what you want, easy to shoot, no kick. I mean, they're amazing. You notice all my guns are black? I actually bought these all on the same day when I walked in. You can only buy so many, though. It was like, I think it was 6 I was allowed to buy. And then they do that check with the police. And if you go and buy a gun one day and then buy a gun another day, and then you're doing these separate checks, well, it ends up costing you more money. So I just walked in and bought all 6. How about an AR-15? These are pretty good. This one's pretty heavy. You know, this one's got a scope. I need to adjust that actually. Sitting a little bit too far away. This is a heavy gun, is what this is. But you got your sling to take the weight off you. And then we have the good old reliable shotgun. And that noise that sends chills through your body, you know, is what it does. By the way, all these guns are unloaded. So, which one's the best? AR, 22, shotgun. Anybody that's backpacking and they're in an area with bears, they'll carry a shotgun. They're not going to carry a 22. They're not going to carry an AR. They just carry a shotgun. Now, you carry a shotgun with a good slug, you can pretty much take a bear's head off. You carry a good slug, I mean, you can take down deer. I've taken down a few deer with a slug. But it's quite a versatile gun. I mean, these different shotgun shells all contain different size pellets in it. Like this one has, I think this is a 6, and this one, no, this one's a 4, and this one's a 6. And basically different BBs. So inside the shotgun shell, you got different size BBs. Where a slug is one solid bullet. And can you imagine, one solid bullet coming out of that thing? And then you got different size BBs. You got bird shot, you got small game shot, squirrels, rabbits, which in turn allows you to shoot without destroying the meat. So, if you were going to use an actual bug out scenario and you were to pick one weapon, you would have to take the shotgun. I mean, you take a 22 and people go, oh, the 22 is the lightest, you can carry the most ammo, it'll keep you going for a very long time. A lot of that's true. Unless you take the shotgun and the 22. Now, the way to get away from the shotgun is you could go out and buy a 10 millimeter and carry that, but it's not as reliable as a shotgun. And it does have quite a kick. Where the shotgun, not so much. But when you got a shotgun on the back, and anytime they do training up north in Canada, especially for bear, they will train in shotguns, is what they will do. They will be mounted on the back of their packs, and that's all there is to it. And it's mainly used as self-defense in case of bear attack, is what that's for, in case you got to take that bear down. And can you imagine if you listened to some prepper and you took a 22 and said, oh, I'm good. I'm going to eat squirrels and rabbits, and I'm going to have a banquet. And then all of a sudden, some big black bear comes along when you're sitting there eating, and he's just as hungry as you, and he decides he wants it. Well, what are you going to do? Shoot him with 22? You're going to tickle him. He's going to laugh at you. It won't even go in, you know. And he just took all your deer, all your gear, tore it apart, and you're dead. It's that simple. Now, when you join the armed forces, they teach you that your rifle is everything. You don't lose it, you don't drop it, you don't let go. You keep it well maintained, you clean it, unless you want to end up dead. So a shotgun mounts on the back of a pack pretty good. I don't know, maybe 8 pounds. And then you figure your bullets. So you have to figure how many bullets you're going to take, what your bullets are going to, they are going to weigh more than a 22, by all means. But everybody acts like they're leaving forever. And it's not like you got a bullet factory hanging off your back. So it doesn't matter if you take a 22, an AR, or a shotgun. You're still going to be limited on how much ammo you take. I mean, even guys in the armed forces can only take so much ammo. And one of the biggest things nobody wants to run out of is ammo. So a lot of guys in the army will leave certain things behind just to carry more ammo, because that becomes number one important along with water. So literally, if I'm going with a shotgun. There's a lot of things out there that'll take you out, depending on your area. Up in Canada, where I'm from, I mean, there's moose, there's some pretty big game, and moose is just as dangerous as bear. They'll take you out. They really will. But there's all kinds of different loadouts with slugs that go in shotguns, is what there is. Now, I prefer a good shotgun. I threw a leather, you see that? That's all leather. I made sure I didn't scrimp on that. And hold it right in place. Now, the nice thing about a shotgun, you don't have to aim really good. That's the nice thing about them, okay? I mean, you just literally have to point in that direction of where that bear is coming at you and start firing. This is a pump. You can get semi-automatics that just keep loading and firing. You can get drums for them. There's really no limit to what you can do. You can get them with much shorter barrels. You can get quite crazy with your shotgun. You should do a lot of research on shotguns if you're a prepper and fully understand what loads. You definitely need a slug, but what kind of slug? You definitely should do a lot of research on what ammo you're going to pack and what your main game is for your area. So if you're taking out small game like rabbits and squirrels, when you're probably looking at number 6, number 7, a much smaller BB. And the thing about shotguns, you have to understand, the smaller the number, the bigger the shot, the bigger the pellet. So you go number 7, those are real tiny BBs. You go to a number 2, those are much bigger BBs, so there's less BBs in the end. Shotguns are always the opposite way. I never understood why, but that's where they go. And a number 2 is very close to a slug. I mean, it's just they're got BBs in the end instead of an actual slug. A 2 would probably, I don't know, it would hurt a bear, but you want the slug. Slug is a solid bullet, so you definitely want to do some aiming with that. But I would want to have a shotgun on the back of my backpack if I was walking, say, from here to another small town and I was foraging and I was going through the buildings looking for food. That's what I would love to have. Now, if you can carry 2, carry 2. But a 22 just doesn't have the power to do anything but, tickle the bigger animals is all it does. More so, you find a hole in a tree, you can climb that tree if you know how to do it, and put your shotgun inside the hole and fire off at number 2. And chances are there's probably a raccoon inside that hole. When I was much younger, when I was a kid, when I was like, I don't know, like 17 or so, that's many years ago. I would go out and with a shotgun, and I can't tell you everything I did with a shotgun, but we would basically go out and shoot raccoon, and it was for the pelts. And when I got back, my uncle had a big farm, and he had a license for it and everything. I had a license to hunt, I had a license to take them, but I didn't have a license for sending the pelts in or anything. He did. So I'd skin them, I'd pelt them, and dry them, and then we'd send them in. I made a lot of money doing that. I actually bought my first car doing that. At that time, the pelts were worth a lot of money. But again, in the meat of a raccoon. Now, I don't know what they taste like in the States, but up in Canada, whenever I killed a raccoon, especially if it was fall time, The entire animal had a very thick amount of fat on it because it was its winter fat, and you'd have to trim most of that off. Then you'd kind of boil it just to get even more off, and then you'd actually cook it in the oven. But raccoon tasted very much like roast beef. Oh, if you cooked it right, it was good. Now, you don't want to eat raccoons that are hanging out in dumps or places like that. Where we shot our raccoons, it was just out in the wilderness. So that matters too, right? If you shoot a bear that is eating berries constantly, that meat's going to taste a lot better than a bear that's eating something else that's not so good, that's hanging out in the garbage dump or something like that. I mean, there are places up in Canada where we used to go camping, and you'd go to the dump and you'd see, 10, 12 black bear eating garbage. You don't want to eat that. So what that animal eats determines how good or what it's going to taste like, right? But to be safe, I want a shotgun. And I want it to be accessible, easy to get at, not just carry it and put it on the back of my pack and I can't get it. Bear can come out of the bush anywhere. And that's kind of scary. Now, here in Tennessee, up in northern Tennessee, in Gatlinburg, they have been seeing a lot more black bears. We actually had a sighting here where somebody had seen one. They are starting to push south a little bit. So, bears are a concern here. And I have been looking at getting myself a 10 millimeter instead of a 45. And those are big guns for having on my side. But when you hear people talk about, oh, you need a 22 when you're going to bug out, take everything for a grain of salt and make your own decisions. If I take anything, it's going to be a shotgun. Shotgun can feed me. Shotgun can protect me from bears. I feel a lot safer with a shotgun. If I go for a number 7 shell and it's a bird shot and it spreads out, I mean, I can literally shoot 2 or 3 people at one time. Now, a shotgun does have to go in close range, right? That's the thing. But you're not going to be standing out there in the middle of the field becoming a sniper in some key shoot. I mean, a shotgun, anybody can shoot. It really doesn't require a whole lot of practice. It's up to how to use it. And you could be sitting in the bush somewhere being very, very quiet, and you could take out somebody. The other nice thing about a shotgun, I use it for self-defense in the home instead of a handgun, is because when you shoot a shotgun, it might go through the wall a little bit, but after that, it's lost all its power. And that's important because let's say there is an intruder in the house. My wife's in the bedroom. I'm in a different room. I hear it. Okay, shotgun in hand. We go looking. And, I shoot the guy, but I partially miss him. And part of it goes through the wall. Chances are she's not going to get hurt. She may get a scratch, but she's not going to get hurt. Because shotguns are for close range. And they really don't go through walls very good. They will, but depends how thick your wall is. But they're not like shooting an AR through the wall. You shoot an AR, it can go through 2 or 3 walls. And it's kind of scary. So, I mean, these are tools. And these tools have to be thought about. And you really got to sit down and think about how you're going to use them and when you're going to use them. Now, the AR, for example, you see on a table, I would use that around my bunker, around my house. I'm not walking 100 miles. I mean, that is strictly for defense around here. But if I was leaving and I was going into the wilderness and I had to go to get to another town and start searching for food and canned food, the shotgun's coming with me. To me, the 22 is useless. So tell me what you guys think. What rifle would you want to bring if you had to leave the house with your bug-out bag and go to a different city and scrounge for food and then come back? So you're going to be gone a couple weeks. Do you agree with me? Which one would you want to use? Catch you guys on the next one.